And welcome. Let's get started by coming into a posture that immediately helps to release the hips and the low back, which is Child's Pose. So to start in Child's Pose, we'll take the knees to the outsides of the mat. You can work your toes together behind you, sinking your hips back. Find a comfortable place though, so we don't want to force the hips down towards the heels. Walking your hands long and forward, let forehead rest down on your mat. Once the forehead is resting down, you can go ahead and have a bend in your elbows. Maybe unhinge your jaw, begin to scan your neck. Just begin to scan. Notice how you feel through your shoulders, your upper back. Begin to bring your awareness to your chest and notice your breath. Consciously exhale, opening the mouth, letting out a sigh. Take a deep, full breath in. This time, when you open the mouth and sigh out, just imagine that you're setting down the day. Do it again. Breathe in really deeply through the nose. Open mouth, sigh out tomorrow. Setting down before, setting down after, and breathe in deeper and feel yourself right here. Right here on our mats. So we call it yoga practice and not yoga perfect on purpose. Right, so tonight we're going to practice staying present, practice being here right on our mats, in the pose, in this breath. But know that it does take practice. You might notice that your mind drifts, and when it does, come back to bringing your attention to how the pose feels. Feeling the in and out flow of your breath. Maybe even noticing the music or the sound of the space that you're in. We'll take one more full inhale. And with the exhalation, rise up slowly into a tabletop position. Once in tabletop, we'll start with cow and cat pose. Hands are shoulder distance, knees are hip width apart. With the inhale, cow pose, drop navel down towards the mat. Tailbone lifts up, you can gaze forward. Now hold your cow pose and press your shin bones and the tops of your feet down into the floor. Push the palms into the mat. On the exhalation, cat pose, press the ground away with your hands. Curl the tailbone under, draw the gaze towards the navel, pause and breathe. And then see if you can press the tops of your feet down a little more into the mat. Inhale to a cow pose. Exhale, cat pose, round the back. Then coming back into a cow pose, drawing the navel down. Send your gaze over your left shoulder, peeking at your left hip. And come back to the center, draw the gaze over the right shoulder, drawing the right hip forward. And then let's come back to the center. Tuck the toes underneath, reach the seat up to the sky for a downward facing dog. And in down dog, we may want to walk the hands forward or the feet back. Creating the upside down V shape for the body, push your mat away with your palms, which will elevate the weight away from the wrists and shoulders. Lower abdomen lifts up, thigh bones press back, and maybe nod your head yes, shake it no, and then surrender the weight of your head. Another anchoring practice for the mind is the focal point for the eyes or the yoga drishti. So in every yoga pose, if you immediately set your eyes at a focal point and keep it steady, it tends to create more of a meditation as we move. The mind is free of clutter and chatter and more aware of your breathing and how the pose feels. Next inhalation, take the right leg reached up. Open up your hip and draw your heel over towards your left shoulder blade. Once you're there, circle your toes, maybe circle your ankle. And if that feels okay, create some big circles with your right knee. Let's begin to bring some movement to the hip. The next inhalation, we're going to send the leg up to the sky, level the hips. Exhale, step your foot forward between your hands. Right hand will reach up towards the sky. To deepen the outer leg stretch, take the right hand and reach it towards the back wall. Send your gaze over your right shoulder. Begin to press through your left heel. Inhale your leg high to the sky, or rather your hand high to the sky. Plant your hand down, step it back, high plank pose. In high plank, hands are shoulder distance. Legs can be straight or knees down. Keeping your spine long, gaze about a foot in front of your fingertips and keep pushing the mat away from you. Bend your elbows straight back, lower all the way down to the ground. And then once we're all the way down to the ground, we'll be taking Sphinx Pose. Come up slowly onto your elbows. Forearms are making a number 11 shape. In Sphinx Pose, I always like to gaze into the space between like the thumb and pointer fingers, but maybe for you it feels okay to gaze forward more. Press the tops of the feet into the floor, lifting the kneecaps gently upward. Now, see if you can lift your lower abdomen a little bit and stretch the breastbone forward. Let's release down. Place the hands underneath the shoulders. Pressing up into a tabletop position. When you arrive in your tabletop pose, take your right hand forward and your left leg reaches back in tabletop balance. Take the hand and the toes, the fingertips and the toes are going to tap the mat and then lift it back up to your tabletop balance. Tap the toes and the tips of the fingers to the mat. Inhale, lift them up. One more time, tap the mat, lifting up. Now set it out to the side, leg goes over to the left, tap the mat with the fingertips and toes, lift them back up. Tap the mat, we're building a little heat, lift, tap, lift up, then stretch it long, place the hand and the knee down. Downward facing dog, reach your seat up to the sky. And the down dog if you'd like to pedal at your feet. Right away, establish your focal point, your drishti. Here we're taking the left leg and reaching it up towards the sky. Open up your hip, bend your knee. And if you'd like to, you could circle your toes. Circle up the knee. Maybe, yeah, feel that out. And then straighten your leg really high and inhale. When you exhale, step your foot forward between your hands, coming to a low lunge. Left hand stretches up towards the sky. And then reach the hand towards the back of the room. And you can gaze over your left shoulder. Hand comes back up to the sky. Place the hand down and then step to the top of your mat. Ragdoll Pose. Take the feet hip width apart, capturing the opposite biceps. And let your head hang heavy. Just pausing here, shifting weight evenly onto the feet. Noting if the tendency in the forward fold is to roll to the pinky side edge of the foot, then plug into the big toe mound. Maybe we fan the toes out a little bit. Lower abdomen is gently lifting towards the sky. Relax your hands down towards your mat. Come to a half lift on an inhale. Plant your hands and step it back again into a high plank position. When you get to high plank, you can pause here, keeping the legs straight or having the knees down. Push the mat away with your palms to get more strength in the core. Slide forward an inch or two. Bend the elbows straight back, lowering halfway down for low plank chaturanga. Inhales, upward facing dog. Flip to the tops of feet and up dog. Really push the tops of feet into the mat, lifting the knees and thighs up. Downward facing dog. Take knees to the mat, tabletop position. We can't skip the other side, right? Left arm, left hand is reaching, right leg stretches back. Finding your steadiness. Tap your mat with the tips of your fingers and your right toes. Lift them back up to hip and shoulder height. Tap the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale to tap. One more time, we'll lift up, then take it out to awkward airplane pose. Tap the floor, lifting up. Floor tap, lift. Last one, lifting higher than before. Then send it forward and back. Place the hand and the knee down. Downward facing dog. Gaze to your hands, step or hop to the top of the mat. This time in ragdoll, feet are hip width apart. Interlace fingers behind your back. In forward folds, we can always bend our knees, even if you're really flexible, like naturally really loosen your hamstrings. Bending the knees earlier in the class can help you release your neck, decompress the spine, or just feel a stretch in different regions. Hands come down towards the ground. On an inhalation, halfway lift flat back. Exhale and fold. Press down into your feet. Roll yourself up to standing. Stretch the arms to the sky, mountain Tadasana. Exhale, hands come to the heart. Samasthiti. Softly gaze to your fingertips, closing the eyes. Allowing this practice to be a practice. Setting down perfection. Setting down perfectionism. Here is our time to explore, to notice how we feel, right? To be open. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. Deeper inhale. When you exhale, open eyes, relax the hands to your sides. Sun salutation, stretch your arms to the sky, mountain Tadasana. Exhale, folding forward, knees can bend, head drops heavy. Halfway lift on the inhale, a nice flat back. Plant your hands, step back, high plank pose. Lowering down a few inches for low plank chaturanga or go all the way to the mat. Inhales, upward facing dog or taking gentle cobra, then downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale. Exhale the air out. Step or hop the feet to the top of your mat. Inhales, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose, Tadasana. Exhale, fold forward, moving with the breath. Inhales, halfway lift. Exhale, step or hop, chaturanga, high to low plank. Breathe in up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. One inhale. Empty it out. Step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhales, half lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, mountain Tadasana. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, breathe in. Step or hop back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Breath in. Empty it out. Step or float to the top of the mat. Inhales, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lifting. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. Breath in. Exhale. Step or float, top of the mat. One more time. Breath in, half lift. Fold forward, exhale. Mountain pose, in breath. Fold forward, exhale it out. Halfway lift, inhale. Step or hop, chaturanga. Breathe in, upward facing. Downward facing dog, exhale out. Take a few deep breaths. Heels maybe dropping a little closer to the mat. They don't have to touch. Plug in with thumb and pointer finger. Gaze forward to the hands. Step or float to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Inhales, mountain pose, reaching tall. Sit back into chair pose, bringing hands together at your heart center. Shifting the gaze down slightly so the neck stays long. In the chair pose, weight shifts towards heels. I personally like to float the toes up, then press down into the big toe mound of the foot. Feel the arches of the feet activate. Then visualize holding the yoga block between the knees. Once you feel that stability, then float the arms effortlessly up towards the sky. And so we're finding this place in which to practice. Practice calming the mind with the breath. Practicing anchoring ourselves to the present by noticing what we're feeling, how we're breathing, what we're hearing. One more inhale. On the exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, chaturanga, step or hop back. We can always skip these chaturangas as well. Upward facing, move right to downward facing dog. Take the right leg up to the sky in your inhale. When you exhale, step the right foot forward. Spin your back heel, warrior one. Front heel is aligning with heel of back foot. If it feels unstable, we can take it wider, inching the front foot to the right. Plug into your back foot and engage your back thigh muscle. Then slowly square your shoulders towards the front of your mat. Front thigh sinks, fingers reaching up towards the sky. Next exhalation, airplane arms, torso leans forward. Hug your shoulder blades together. Right, we're gazing down towards the toes. Okay. Low ribs draw up and in. Next inhale is a warrior two. Create a big circle with your left arm. We open up into warrior two pose. Okay. When you sink the front thigh down, track the knee a little more to the right to stretch the inner thigh. If you feel tense in your shoulders or traps, drop your hands down, shake the day off your shoulders. One thing that I like to do to really release the shoulder muscles is to bring the back of the hands together, draw them up through the heart, and then reach the arms out. It's a nice effortless movement of the energy across the arms and chest. Find a focal point for the eyes, sink and breathe. Next exhalation, extended side angle. Right elbow can be on thigh. Left arm is going to reach overhead, palm face down. Begin to slightly open up, stacking your lungs, reaching the top hand away from the outer edge of the back foot. Reverse warrior. Inhale, stretch back. Front thigh sinks down, maintaining the warrior two legs. Yes, there might be some heat or a little bit of shaking. That's okay. We want to build some heat. And then slide the hand very lightly down the back leg, reaching back. Next exhalation, release hands to the mat. Step it back, chaturanga. One leg lifted is optional. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Send the left leg high, breathe in. Step your left foot forward. Inhale, warrior one. Firmly plant the back foot. And then feel the back leg really engaged and steady. Invite the right shoulder forward a touch. Sink front thigh down. If knee is pushing past heel, take in a longer stance, protecting the joints. Reach up through your fingers, and if it feels good, look up a little bit. Next exhalation, airplane the arms or powerful warrior. Lean the torso forward, hug shoulder blades, reach fingers away from crown of head. And then I always have to remind myself to relax the gripping in the toes. Warrior two, open up. Front knee tracking a little more to the left. Shoulders are balanced right above the pelvis. If we're feeling a lot of tension in the traps and shoulders, just shake the arms out. Good, and then float the hands, back hands together across the heart. Instead of unfolding your wings. Next exhalation, extend your side angle elbow to your thigh. Right arm is reaching overhead. And you press into the feet. Inner thighs hug in just a little bit towards each other and you'll feel that. And then stack your shoulders, reaching long through the top hand. With a reverse warrior, we'll stretch back and take an inhale. Gazing towards the back foot may help you get a deeper side stretch and also can help to reconnect with the breath. If you're looking up towards the ceiling, a little bit more of a front body stretch, right? A little heart opening. One more inhale. And when you exhale, release hands to the mat. Step it back, a chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Empty it all out. Step or hop to the top of the mat. Let's flow. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose, reaching up. Exhale, chair pose, sitting low. Inhale, reach the arms high, but keep the seat low. Fold forward, exhale. Inhales, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing. Send the right leg high, inhale. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Airplane arms, exhale. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse it. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg high. Stepping it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Airplane arms, exhale. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended. Reverse it, breathe in. Chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, upward. Exhale, down dog. Take the right leg high, breathe in. Step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Airplane arms. Warrior two. Extended side angle. Reverse it. Chaturanga. Lift the heart, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg. Step forward. Warrior one. Airplane arm. Warrior two. Extended side angle. Reverse it to chaturanga. Breathing in for the up dog. Exhale to the down dog. Take a breath in. Empty it out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Send the right leg up to the sky in your inhale. Exhale, right foot steps forward. Crescent lunge. Back heel remains lifted. Reach the arms up. To build a little more heat through the lower body, we're going to take power lunge. So reach the arms back like airplane wings. Torso leans forward. Push the ground away with the sole of the front foot. Hold. Reach the arms high in an in-breath. Crescent lunge. Exhale, airplane the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, airplane arms. Last one, we inhale, reach to the sky. Bring your hands to your heart. Revolve, crescent lunge. Always an option to place the back knee down. In revolving crescent lunge, lean forward and rotate to the right. Make sure that you can at any time lift your elbow off your thigh because we're utilizing the strength of the obliques. If you want to deepen, gaze over the right shoulder or open the arms wide. Keep your back leg strong and straight. Release your hands down to your mat, plant your palms, stepping it back, high plank, hold, side plank is next. Big toes come to touch. Right hand slides forward an inch or two. Roll to the right, lift your left hand to the sky. Option to place the right knee down. Okay, or if you'd like to, you can start floating the left leg up. Bend your knee, step it behind you. Wild thing, reach forward. Maybe you're reaching for the floor. Heart turns to the sky. Wild things, challenge yourself to come back to side plank. This is always the most fun part where I wobble and laugh at myself. I hope you are having fun too. Hand comes down, pause in your high plank pose, then lower to chaturanga. Up dog, in breath. Downward dog, exhale. Breath in, big sigh out. Because we gotta do the left side. Take your left leg up. Step your left foot forward. Or maybe you're cheering like, yes, I get another chance at this. Reach the arms up. Find your center of balance. Hug inner thighs together. Beautiful. Then take the arms back. Power lunge. Torso leans forward, arms are back like airplane wings. Inhale the arms up. Exhale them back. Reach tall, breathe in. Airplane arms, exhale. One more time, breathe in. Send your arms back. This time we come back to crescent. Hands come to the heart. Lean the torso forward. Rotate to the left. Take a moment to draw the navel up towards the spine. Crown of head reaching away from tailbone. Then rotate deeper, gaze over left shoulder. Back leg strong, makes the pose more even. Brings more ease to the pose, yeah. Next exhalation, plant your palms. Step it back, high plank and hold. Side plank, Vashisthasana, slide left hand forward. Roll to the left, reach up with the right hand. Variation, left knee resting. Otherwise, float the hips up higher and try lifting the right leg. Bend the knee, step the foot behind you. Wild thing, reach up and over with the right hand. Wild thing, come back to the side plank. High plank pose, take a deep breath. Chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Big exhale out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Send the right leg up to the sky. When you exhale, step your right foot forward. Crescent lunge, arms reaching up. Moving into airplane pose, lunge forward onto the front foot. Arms are back like airplane wings. We're going to challenge our strength and build heat through the hips by moving from crescent to airplane pose. Slowly land in crescent. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, lunge it forward. Okay. Step back, crescent, arms lift, inhale. Exhale, lunge forward. 2 more times at your own pace. On the last one, meet in the airplane pose. Slowly bend your standing leg. Start to get lower to the ground. Place your hands on the floor. Right knee is bent. Then bend your left knee and draw it towards your heart. Kick your left leg to the sky. Right leg a little straighter. Draw the left knee in. Bend the right knee deep. And then kick the leg up. One more time. Draw the knee in. Kick the leg high to the sky. Pause here. Draw forehead down towards shin or knee. Head is heavy. Breathing deep. Bend your right knee and step your left foot behind you into a low lunge. From there, plant your palms. Come to a 3-legged downward facing dog. Right leg is high. Open up your head. And then set the right foot down. Let's do the opposite side. Take your left leg high. Inhale. Step the left foot forward on the exhale. Crescent lunge. Reach up on the inhale. Lunge forward into airplane. Exhale. Push the mat away. Softly come back to crescent lunge. Wobbling is okay. We're practicing. What's so great about home practice is no one can see you're perfect, but no one can see you're imperfect, right? We are just practicing. Good. 2 more times at your own pace. The last one. Hold the airplane. Start to bend your standing leg, your left knee. Get lower to the ground. Hands reach for the floor. Now draw the right knee in towards your chest. Bend both knees into like a little ball. And then kick the leg high. Come into that tight little ball. Get low. Kick the leg up. Last one. Get low. Kicking the leg high. Hold here. Standing splits pose. Head can be heavy. Bend your left knee, step right foot behind you, plant the palms, 3-legged downward facing dog. Take your leg high, open the hip, and set the foot down into the mat. Gaze forward to your hands, step or hop to the top of the mat. Take your feet wide as the outside edges and come into a low yogi squat. In low squat, we can have the hips down towards the earth. If this is bothering your knees or hips, we can have the hips at the same height as the knees. Elbows would be placed across the top of your thighs. In either version, palms can press together in the heart. Draw your gaze slightly forward. The right hand can come down towards the ground. Left arm is going to reach up towards the sky. Stay right here or try bringing the hand behind your back, taking a half a bind. Full bind is available as well. Maybe the right arm would go around the front of the knee, reaching up to hold onto the left fingertips. Nothing is forced though. You can't crack a little smile, right? We might be forcing it, so we'll just be patient. We've got the rest of our lives to practice these poses. Open the arm up, place the hand down, and let's do the opposite side. Send the right hand high. And you can stay here, take a half a bind. Maybe the left arm is going around the outside of the knee. Take the hands, lift them up, palms onto the ground, seat reaches upward. Sway your hips a little side to side. All right, walk the feet in. Place your knees on the back of your arms, moving into Crow Bakasana. In Crow Pose, it is shifting your center of gravity, which is by your tailbone. So in order to get the weight off the feet and onto the palms, we have to reach our head forward. I really recommend not looking to your toes, but looking out in front of your mat a little bit. Reach the top of the head forward, then push the ground away. And before you know it, one foot gets light, both feet get light. We'll be meeting in a child's pose. In this version of child's pose, take the knees together. Fingertips are reaching back towards your heels. Let your forehead drop down, breathe. Stay as long as you'd like in child's pose. Or come into downward facing dog. Send the right leg high in your inhale. Exhale, right foot steps forward. Inhale, warrior two. And side angle pose, reach the right hand forward and place it down at the inner ankle. Placing hand on a block, or you can have forearm on thigh. Left arm is reaching upward. Flip the palm to face the other direction. Then bring the back of the hand to the small of your back, reaching for the right hip crease, taking a half bind. I personally think there is not a ton more benefit to the full bind, but there are a little bit more risks when we do a full bind here. If you have a history of shoulder injury, or just sometimes your shoulders bother you, I would stick with a half bind. It's gonna give you tons of benefit, longevity. No need to take a week off or 2 weeks off from yoga because you kinked your shoulder. Yep. Then take your arm back up, reverse the warrior, reach up. Half moon pose, right hand goes forward. Lift the back leg up, flex the foot. Reach up tall through the left hand. Building more heat, reverse warrior to half moon flow. Step gently back. Inhale the arm up. Exhale, cartwheel it forward, half moon. Do that 3 times at your own pace. Yeah, and you can go slow or quick. When you are complete, we'll be in half moon pose. Half moon pose, draw your left elbow to your heart, draw your left knee to your heart, and bend your right knee. Blossom back out. 2 more times. Come into a tight little ball. Open it up. I know our hips are burning. 1 more time, open up. Woo, step it back. Straighten your front leg. Good, sway the hips a little bit. Turn your feet. Prasarita, fold forward, hinge from the hip creases. Allow your head to drop down. We will put really good use to this heat we're building. Okay, we're gonna work on opening up our hips, holding hip poses, help to heal, help us release, let go, set down. Walk your hands out in front of you. Lift your heels up, turn forward. Plant palms, step it back. Downward facing dog. If you'd like a full vinyasa, you're welcome to come to high plank, lower into chaturanga, upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Send the left leg upward. Step the left foot forward. Warrior two. Moving into side angle pose. Reach it forward, tip it down. Elbow can be on thigh. Left hand on a block or reaching for the mat. Take your half bind, flip your palm, slide the hand behind you. Breathe into the shoulder, rolling it back. You can slide the hand further down if that feels okay. Open the arm back to the sky, take a reverse warrior, reach it back. Half moon pose, float it forward. Flexing your back foot, reach tall through the left hand, shoulders stacked. Step back, reverse the warrior, inhale. Exhale, half moon. 3 more times, step back. Find your flow. Embrace imperfect. Embrace in practice. Half moon is we're holding. Try to straighten out your bottom foot a little bit. There you go. Now let's draw the right elbow and the right knee into the heart. Bend your standing leg, get low, open it up. 2 more times. Feel like a sunflower moving into a bud, opening up. I don't know if sunflowers do that. All right, a rose. Open yourself back up, step it back. And warrior two, straighten your leg, hips can sway, turn your feet. I'm gonna turn towards you guys, but we'll take Prasarita. Interlace fingers behind the back, lift through the heart, fold it forward. Hands can release down towards the ground. Walk your hands over towards your right foot. Once you walk to the right foot, start to bend your right knee. You can stay here with your left foot flat, or you can move into side lunge, skandasana. Point the left toes up to the sky. Sit back towards the right heel a little bit more. Hands can stay on the ground, or hands can work to the heart. Breathe here for 5. Notice what you're feeling. If we've gone too deep, the breath gets choppy, we'll ease up. 3, 2, 1 more breath in. Nice, lift the hips up. Sway your hips side to side. Walk it to the left. Keeping the right sole of foot flat is one option, or balance on the heel, toes pointing up. Hands can stay on the ground, hands at the heart. 5 breaths. 4 more. 3. Good, 2. 1 more inhale. Release the hands down, lift your hips up, sway the hips a little bit side to side. And then from there, we're turning forward towards the front of the room. Step it forward to the top of the mat, and take your feet wide, coming back into low yogi squat. Yeah. All right, if you do not like yogi squat, do it every single day, maybe twice a day. Heels will lift up off of the ground. Draw the heels in towards each other a little bit, so it's just like energetic engagement of the inner thigh. Now start to rise up to stand, keeping your heels lifted. And then heels drop down, you get all the way to the top. Nice work. Come in, walking the feet about hip width apart. Tree pose, shift the weight onto the left foot, sole of the right foot goes to calf or inner thigh. In a standing pose, begin to feel the sensation of lifting up out of your left hip. Palms can press together, or arms can reach high to the sky. If you'd like a side bend, arch to the right. Right hand will be placed at the top of your thigh, palm face up. Left arm is reaching for the right side of the room. Come back up to the center. Palms to the heart. Release the foot down. Other side, slide the sole of the left foot upward, inner thigh, maybe inside the calf or ankle. Palms press. Try to lift up out of your right hip. Very nice, and reach up. You could send it over to the side if you want a side stretch or a little challenge to your balance. Perfectionism keeps us from trying new things. We find what we're good at and we stick to it, right? Whereas yoga invites us to try all kinds of things. Sometimes it's really messy, right, when we're trying something new on our yoga mats. But with time and practice, we find our gracefulness. Take your arm high, bring the hands to heart. Same thing off the mat, right? No one's graceful the first time they try something. Send your hands to the sky and inhale. And when you exhale, fold forward. Come to a seated position. When we get to seated pose, we're moving into Navasana. We're going to take a posture called Floating Lotus Pose. In Floating Lotus Pose, come into boat pose, having your feet up. Then bring the bottoms of your feet together, right, so that the knees butterfly out. Then take your hands underneath your calves or your knee creases, palms face up. In the Floating Lotus, you can take a mudra here, joining your first finger and thumb, Wisdom Mudra. And lift up through your heart. That very famous Buddha saying, no mud, no lotus. The same thing, right? If we are stuck in perfectionism, we don't allow ourselves to move through the mud, to move through the challenges, the awkward, right? The difficult, to find our way towards the gracefulness and the ease and the effortless. We simply wall ourselves off from trying the new things. So here, feel that within you that wants to explore, even if you have to move through the darkness, through the mud. And let's come back to the center with the hands, release the feet down, lower down onto your backs. When you're on your backs, take your feet hip width apart. Tuck your triceps and shoulder muscles underneath you a little bit. To move into bridge pose, commit to looking straight up, keeping your neck in a neutral position with the chin pointed to the sky versus looking to your camera or your screen. Push into your feet and lift your hips up off the mat. Tuck the arms and triceps underneath you a little bit more. You can interlace your fingers. In bridge pose, I always like to float the toes up and press the ball of the foot down. If that tightens your low back, place your toes back down and try lifting your heels up. To give you a little more space, track your knees away from your heart. Breathe deeply. In this pose, try not to suck it in, right? So often we're always sucking in our lower abdomen, right? Sucking in our abs, but here let them open up, expand, and stretch with your breath. One more inhale, and when you exhale, lower down. Slide your arms out from underneath you. Gently windshield wiper your knees from side to side. All right, we're moving into one more bridge or wheel pose. If you'd like to take wheel pose, one of my big tips, sometimes wheel is not successful because we feel like we don't have enough strength. A lot of it has to do with the angle of your elbow bend. So if we tuck the hands all the way underneath our shoulders, like as far as we can, we get a really awkward bend at the elbow and there's literally no strength. It's really hard to push up. So slide your hands back so that your thumb is closer to the earlobe and the elbows can actually wing away from your heart. Come into a half bridge first, lifting your hips, then push into the palms. You'll have more power and maybe we get the head up off the ground. Eventually the arms straighten. Heart works back towards the back of the room. Heels can lift up. We can also move into another bridge pose. Take 3 more breaths. Wheel poses really push the ground away so you take the weight out of the wrists. And then lower back down. Windshield wiper the knee side to side. Circle up the wrists a little bit. All right, bring the bottoms of your feet together. Take your arms above your head, make them into a diamond shape. Elbows bent. Soften through your face, soften through your eyes. If we live a life based on perfection, we learn how to do something right, and we stick with what we do well, what we do perfectly. We keep ourselves in that space. But if we embrace imperfection, explore, allow ourselves to make mistakes, and knowing that that's how we learn, how we get stronger, how we grow, the sky's the limit. There is no such thing as a comfort zone. There's just room to let the soul stretch out its wings. And draw the knees back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. You want to do some circles. In this pose too, if you do have tight hips or low back, you can do knee circles. You can actually kind of like take your knees and circle them in one direction, and then take your knees and circle them in another direction. That's a really nice release for maybe a long day at a desk, or you had to do a big long drive. Cross your ankles, plant to rock yourself up, come back into a downward facing dog. When you arrive in your downward facing dog, we'll be moving into our hips. Okay. Starting with a half pigeon pose, take the right knee high and draw the right knee forward. And tuck your back toes under, scooting your foot back behind you. Come up tall onto the hands first and draw your heart forward, really stretching through the front body. Then lower down slowly. Come onto elbows. Maybe rest the forehead down towards the mat. If there is any discomfort in your knee region, tuck a yoga block or maybe even like a firm throw pillow or rolled up towel underneath your right hip. Last thing you could try if there's discomfort in the knee is to roll all the way over to the right hip. Though it may not look perfect from the outside, as long as you're taking the release off of the knee and stretching the glutes, right, you're doing a perfect pose. Just bringing awareness back to what we're hearing, how we're breathing, what we're feeling. Come up onto your palms. Make your way back into downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet or send the leg high. Once you've landed your right foot on the mat, send the left leg upward, draw left knee forward, placing the shin across the mat. And again, tuck your right toes under. Coming up high onto the fingertips, draw the heart forward, and then let's ease on in. Come down onto elbows, or lay the forehead down on the mat. So I know that because you are here taking yoga class today, that you are not so caught up in perfectionism that you allowed yourself to explore the yoga practice, probably so many other practices in your life. But maybe on this left side, just inquire within if there is still a place within you that feels a bit stifling, a place in your life where you'd like yourself to just give yourself some space to be imperfect, to be an explorer, to be childlike in your efforts to try over and over again, no matter how many times you fail or fall, giving it another shot and another shot. This time we're coming up onto our hands, and you'll shift your weight all the way to your left hip, sweep your right leg around to the front. Then come down onto our backs. Make sure that your strap is at the back of your mat so that you don't have to sit back up. Unless you want more core work, you're welcome to sit back up again one more time. So we're going to come down onto our backs. Once you're on your backs, let's begin with Happy Baby Pose. Happy Baby is a low back stretch, a hip opener, so you can hold your feet from the inside or the outer edges. Keep the back of your head resting on the floor. Push your feet up into your hands and then push the hands down into the feet. You are not really physically able to place your whole spine on the floor, so I encourage you not to force that. If your low back curls up off the mat a little bit, that's okay. Maybe just focusing on pushing palms into feet and feet into palms. Draw your knees into your chest. For our supine twist, set your feet onto the floor, lift your hips up and slide them an inch or so to the right, or bump the hips to the right, then draw the knees back in. Arms are going to be out like a capital T. Drop your knees to the left side of your mat, and if your right shoulder naturally lifts, that's okay. Start to turn your gaze to your right hand and allow your right arm to feel heavy. Maybe the shoulder comes down, maybe not. Feeling this wonderful twist, rinsing out any leftover tension or stress, allowing us to set down. And then we'll come back to the center. Set your feet down onto the floor and lift your hips up. Take your hips over to the left. Draw your knees in. And then drop knees over to the right. Maybe shoulder blade lifts, that's okay. Turn your gaze over to the left. Let gravity press down on you gently to assist you in this moment to deepen your twist. We'll come back to the center with the feet. Stretch your left leg long onto your mat and take your right leg straight up to the sky. For our last pose for our hips, take your strap around the sole of your right foot. Hold the strap in your right hand. Left arm is going to extend out like a half of a capital T. Draw the foot straight back towards you, then bring the foot over to the right. We want to hold onto the strap with enough tension to really support the weight of the leg. If you can pin the left side of your body down, that may intensify the stretch. You can also push through your heel to create a more intense stretch. Draw your leg back up to the sky. Switch hands, hold the strap now with your left hand and bring the foot across. Now, interestingly, this pose can lead us into a spinal twist, so I actually encourage you to have your foot up higher so that you feel it in your outer leg and outer hip. Sometimes putting the foot on the floor takes us out of the leg stretch, but your body is unique, and if it feels right, practice the pose in the way that really feels good to you today. Then take your leg up to the sky. One side of the strap in both hands and draw the leg straight back towards you, then a little towards the right armpit, bring it back a little further, and then release the right leg. Pause for a moment, notice how your right leg feels. Other side, left leg's lifting. Loop your strap around the sole of your foot. Hold the strap in the right hand. Bring the foot back a little bit, then over to the right. Yeah, you can hold the strap. I always like walk the hand up higher sometimes up the strap so that you have more support. I always notice if my fingers are gripping too much, I need to walk my hand closer to the foot. Leg reaches back up, switch hands, draw the foot back a little bit, then over to the left, and explore if keeping your foot higher feels like more stretch or less. Find that perfect place, which is not too much and not too little. Try closing your eyes and breathing deeply. Bring the leg back up to the sky. Hold one side of the strap in both hands. Draw the leg straight back. A little bit to the left and back a little further. And release the left leg long. Take the strap, set it aside. Separate your feet as wide as the outsides of your mat. Or palms are face up at your sides. You can slide your shoulder blades down. Open your mouth wide, release your jaw. And when you close the mouth, begin to relax your breathing, allowing your body to breathe on its own. Feel as if your body is sinking down deeper and deeper into your mat. Imagine that your body is sinking down through the floor. Is there earth below the floor, or is there another floor below this one in which you can sink through? Maybe you sink through another floor, sink down deeper into the soil. And once you imagine that you've reached the earth and you're sinking into soft soil, imagine that everything you no longer need is draining out of you. Visualize it draining down into the soil, being pulled away from your physical being, being pulled away from your mind, being drawn away from you emotionally or energetically. And once you feel the sense of draining away, begin to bring your awareness to your heart space. Feel as if your breath is entering in and out through your heart. And as the breath flows in and out through the heart, feel the energy of the heart space expand across your chest, your arms, down through your legs, toes and fingers. Feel the energy of the heart space move up through your neck and throat, through your face, through your mind. Keep lying comfortably still on your mat. And imagine that all that is not you has dripped and drained away. And now all that is left is you fully pure in your inner perfection, your soul. Begin to allow your soul to move a little bit, animating your toes and your fingers. Maybe circling at your ankles, your wrists. And stretch your arms long above your head and take a beautiful long inhale. Let's stretch in this new space. And we'll come up slowly, rather roll to the right side. So take a moment to roll to your right and let your head rest there. You can roll slowly up to a cross-legged seated position. And bring the hands together at our hearts. The practices of yoga slowly chip away, or you could say peel back the layers of conditioned habits or thought patterns that keep us in a place of feeling like we need to be perfect, seeking other people's approval. And when we practice yoga, we come back home to ourselves and we realize that we are already exactly what the world needs. If we can show up 100% authentically as who we are, there is nothing more perfect than that. Take a deep breath in. When you exhale, bow forward. Namaste.